Hello. So, it's very, very interesting topic that we have. And I know that we posted at, I'll be live at 4:15 today. And here I am at 4:45 because we have been having some, crazy weather here in Texas. And as you probably have already heard, if you are in Texas, you know this. And if you're not in Texas, you've heard it on national news. We have made it to national news. So it's been some crazy weather here, and we've had some power outages and internet outages. And some people have even, unfortunately, been at the mercy of the weather and have had blackouts. And we have had some terrible things happen because people are trying to, get warm. A few deaths and a lot of hypothermia and so on and so forth. My heart goes out to each and every single person that's dealing with difficulty right now. There are a lot of warming stations around. There are people. Please ask for help if you're actually struggling at this moment. There is always someone to help, and you can also reach out to us if you need help in any way we can actually do. There are places where they are offering foods as well. We can definitely put together the resources and send it your way if you're looking for one. There's a lot of resources available now. So don't suffer in silence. Don't suffer alone. And so here I am live much later than our scheduled time, but that's just how it flows right now. And this week has been a time of expressing a lot of gratitude for what we take for granted. Power is something that we take for granted. And this week, it hasn't been something that we can. It's been rationed out, and I'm realizing how much we waste power at many times, and we need to be a lot more careful the way we use it because it's not always a given. Water is another thing that we just open the faucet and the water flows. And I'm from India, so I know the value of water and have known for a long period of time. And even today, I always tell my children, don't waste water because I know how hard it is sometimes to get water because we have lived in places where there was not always easily available water. You just don't open a faucet and the water flows. So I'm aware of that. But then again, this is a good reminder that water is not something that we should take for granted. It's not always an available commodity. Sometimes it's not. And it's a resource that we need to use carefully as well. Um, and then, the third thing is obviously the weather. No matter what, as much as we think of as being in control of so many things, we really are not. And we are at the mercy of the weather. We are at the mercy of nature. And that humbles me. That makes me realize that all I can do at this point is to accept reality and do something about it if I can. Otherwise, go with the flow and not try to force it or control it or try to fight it. So this week has been definitely one of those. We have had to cancel a lot of appointments, move appointments, do Zoom, do things on the fly, and it's been kind of interesting and fun thing to kind of go with the flow rather than be stuck to the rigid plans that we always have and know that anything can change at any point in time. So that being said, all of you, please stay safe and stay warm. And if you don't have a place to go, then please reach out to the any resources. If you can find one, we absolutely will be happy to do that for you again, as I mentioned. And stay warm and safe. That's the most important thing that you can do right now. Okay. Okay, so let's go today to talk about lupus. So this is one of those things that people have been told that it's something that they just have to live with. There's not really much you can actually do, and you just have to suffer in silence. Just like now, I'm saying, don't suffer in silence. Don't suffer in silence, even with lupus. There are so many things you can do today. If you have been told that this is an autoimmune condition that you cannot cure, that you cannot reverse, but you just have to live with, please don't believe it because it can be reversed. it can be treated. And there have been even some famous people who have actually shown that's possible. I'll come to that in a minute. And then there are people who are not so famous and still have done that as well. So I'm going to tell you about one of my patients. Let's name her Diana. Okay, that's not her real name, but that's the name that I'm, giving her today. So she had fibromyalgia and lupus, and she was in a lot of pain. And she had rash, the classical rash that comes with lupus, and a lot of other things. She'd been told that you can never go out in the sun too much, it can cause issues, and there's not much you can do about it. You just have to live with it. So she lived, of course, along with that, the fibromyalgia caused a lot of pain, and she was just always in pain in one form or another. And she just decided that this is just how her life is going to be, until one day she couldn't work anymore because the pain and all of her inflammation was just so debilitating that she had to stop working. And obviously, when you stop working, you have to rely upon other people in order for them to take care of you. And no matter how much people love us, it's very, very hard to take care of people with chronic diseases for years and years and years. So, not only the person who is afflicted with the disease suffers, also the family suffers, the quality of life suffers. And so, which obviously is not what any of us want. So, just for that reason, it's very, very important for us to understand how debilitating these chronic diseases can be and what can we do to prevent having any of these chronic diseases. Or once we have them, what can we do? Can we actually reverse it? Can we have hope even to reverse it? Or is this something that we just have to kind of resign into it, as we have to live with this? So that's why I wanted to bring this topic. It's a very heavy topic. So in Diana's case, she's lived like that for a long period of time, and she had become dependent on her daughter pretty much. And everybody started complaining around her that she wasn't doing anything, and she was just complaining pain. Sometimes even though she had a diagnosis, they called her a liar, for constantly complaining about pain. And obviously, this actually kind of pushed her into depression. And so, one on top of another, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse for her. And she gained a lot of weight because she was eating things that were not really conducive for her health, for her lupus or her fibromyalgia or for depression. But she just, kind of sought out to food for comfort because people weren't really ready to listen. And she really didn't know what to do. And she was on disability for a period of time because and it was a meager income, but that's all she could contribute to. And she was hoping to be able to use that, at least to get her self-esteem back in some way. So she saved up her money to come in for a consultation with us. And I was so proud of her because we did offer her the lesser pay. For people who can't afford, we do offer them the ability to pay less. We offer them the choice of paying less, depending on what their income is, so that they are also able to afford the care that they require and need, rather than it's only for some people. So whatever we do charge people who can afford it, we are able to help people who can't afford it. So we are able to offer her that as well. But she said, no, I actually want to pay in full, because that's when I will actually realize the value of what I am paying for, and I will do it. Because she said, I don't want to just start another thing and I don't want to just give up on it after a while. I kind of want to take this control back of my health once and for all. So that's what I'm going to do this time. So, I was just so proud of her because so many people don't understand how health is a priority. And she really understood that. And she had suffered enough to realize that. And she actually wanted to change that for her own. So she did. And we did the consultation and we talked about things and, suggested all the things that I'm going to tell you today and more. And she went home and she did that. And I was also asking her to write every day because she really didn't have anybody to listen to her. So I realized that she needed to talk to someone. She needed someone to hear her, listen to her. And if she did, that is one of the other things that can be very, very healing for her body and her mind. So I told her to email me every single day during this process. And I told her that I'll be reading your email, but I may not really write back to every single email, but every time I feel that you need encouragement or you need help, I'll be there for you. So that's what we did. And she wrote every day. And I could see the hope slowly seeping in and her gratitude. And she started actually having this, mindset of um, happiness, in her joy in her. She started seeing things that were great in her life and not just things that are horrible in her life. And she actually started eating better. She started following certain practices that we taught her. And slowly but steadily, she was getting better and better and better. And when I saw her a month later, she was 18 pounds less and also feeling so much better. Like her pain was um, definitely less, not 100% gone, but definitely less. She said her depression was the first thing that lifted. Her brain fog was the next thing that lifted. And she said that, for the first time, I actually started feeling like myself. So, and over a period of time, she was feeling better and better and better. And eventually, where she really didn't have any symptoms. And then her blood work showed that she did not have any of the markers for lupus or fibromyalgia even. So, I mean, all her inflammation was down and it was amazing to see. But then I also knew that the power to change that was in her. And there is power in every single one of us to change our destiny if we change the things that we do today. And that's the reason why I kind of wanted to bring this to you, because if you or anyone you know is suffering from this or any other autoimmune condition, know that there is hope. Know that there is, so many choices and solutions you have. This is not the way you have to live. This is not the way you must live. There is so much that you can do to improve the quality of your life. And I hope you are actually listening and understanding this. And I hope that anyone who's watching this will share it with people who has lupus or fibromyalgia or any other autoimmune condition and tell them that they do have hope. So what can you do? So most autoimmune conditions means that the body is really not able to tackle things the way it must. That's what it means. And so in any condition, in any autoimmune condition, the way we actually treat it is by making sure that 5 pillars of health are resurrected and made strong. So that's the first thing that we actually look at. So what are these 5 pillars of health and what can you do if you have lupus so that you can start feeling better? The first and foremost thing is diet. So always, no matter what disease you suffer from, the first and foremost thing is diet, always. And that's the reason why in our practice, we talk about diet so much. We explain to people why that's so important and not to keep getting carried away by so many different diets out there. There are so many diets that come and go. But the one that I'm going to talk to you about is 2,500 years old. So it's ancient, and it's been working for a very long period of time. It's not something that people try here and there, and then, it doesn't work anymore, or, oh, it causes the other condition or another condition, and so on and so forth. But this is something that will actually work for any health condition. So if you or a loved one of yours is suffering from any health condition, you must tell them to actually start working on their diet. So what is it about the diet that you need to do? Get any kind of autoimmune conditions, you need to get rid of all the animal foods. So this is the complete opposite of the GAPS diet or the opposite of the paleo or the keto diet. So why would that be the case? I know a lot of people actually AIP diet, even the autoimmune protocol. So many of these diets actually call for a lot of animal proteins. And here I am telling you the complete opposite of that. So why would I say such a thing? One of the things is, again, we cannot really treat just the autoimmune issue. That's the most important thing I can tell you today, is that we don't ever treat one condition. We treat the whole body. And when we treat the whole body, we want to do things that are actually going to be good for the whole body, not just for the autoimmune issue, not just for a specific organ, but the real whole body. And what I have noticed in my 18 years of practice is that when we actually eliminate all of the animal proteins, especially if you're suffering a lot, you must eliminate everything, including dairy. Dairy is the biggest offender. So dairy, eggs, poultry, red meat, even fish for that matter. And when we eliminate all of those things, it actually brings down inflammation very quickly in most chronic diseases, especially in autoimmune conditions. And then you actually include a lot of vegetables and fruits in your diet, and a lot of greens in your diet, cooked greens. Especially if you have a lot of digestive issues, then you should eat those vegetables cooked rather than raw. But if you don't have any digestive issues, then you should eat a lot of raw as well. That can be very, very helpful in order for us to change how our body is going. The next thing that we can do in the diet is include foods that are actually nutritious and wholesome. So get rid of anything that's refined, anything that's processed, anything that's in a package. You want to get rid of that, and you want to eat everything whole, everything that's going to spoil easily. So those are the kinds of foods you want to eat, nothing that will actually stay on the shelf forever. Those are not things that you must include in your diet at all. So those kinds of foods you want to include a lot of. And then getting rid of wheat and tomatoes. These two are essential as well. So pretty much pizza is out, right? No wheat, no cheese, no tomatoes. So no pizza, no pasta. Now, of course, if we want to heal rather than just keep on prolonging the illness, we must do things differently. We cannot keep doing the same things and expect a different future. If we want a different future, we must change the present. We must change what we are doing. We cannot repeat the same things over and over and over again and expect different results each time. That's not going to happen. So that's very important as well. And then the second pillar of health is lifestyle. When I say lifestyle, it includes meditation, exercise, prayers, if that is something that you do, or even going to sleep at the same time pretty much on a regular basis, and waking up around the same time, having a certain amount of discipline, doing self massages to kind of move the lymphatic system, to kind of help move things around. And it's also very, very good for the parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is responsible for rest, recuperate, and repair. And this is the system that you want to bring into action if you want to heal from any disease for that matter. So it is very essential that you actually have good lifestyle, not drinking, not smoking cigarettes, not doing drugs. These are all very important as well, on top of the dietary aspect, because all of these are toxins, and the more and more and more toxins we put in our body, as we'll talk about it in just a moment, the harder it gets for the body to heal. The third one is detoxification. So detoxification is absolutely essential, in today's world, where there is so much of toxins that are coming through so many sources. And then there are some things that we actually put in our body ourselves, not just wait for things to come on its own, like smoking or alcohol or drugs. We actually put so many toxins in our body too. And then even if you're eating just regular food, conventionally grown foods, you're putting a lot of toxins through the pesticides in there, the fertilizers in there, and so on and so forth. So it's very essential that your body needs to be detoxified on a regular basis. So for lupus too, they have to detoxify. So obviously, this is not something that you should be doing on your own, especially if you do not know how to do it, because it can be a double-edged sword. So you should consult someone like me and ask for help, so that you would be able to get the right kind of detox for you, depending on the body type that you are, a detox that will be tailor-made for you, not just for lupus alone. Okay, but the first two things you can do right away today, the lifestyle as well as the diet. And the third thing that you can do is natural things that you can do at home, like teas. You can actually do herbal teas. You can do as much as possible natural remedies for little ailments like cold, cough, fever, things like that. And if you don't know how to do that, you have never done it before, you can go onto our website at hygiehomeopathy.com. And if you go there under the free resources, you will actually find protocols for all these things. And there are natural herbs and things that you can do to take care of these kinds of ailments. Why is this important? Because we don't want to keep adding the toxic load into our body by constantly taking a lot of medications when it's not even necessary. See, natural medicines have been around for thousands of years. Conventional medicine only been around for 200 years now. So obviously, if we have been still alive and if we have been able to take care of a lot of things, ancient herbs and medicines have a lot of power and we can use them. I'm not saying that you cannot take conventional drugs. Obviously, you can take them if it's a necessity, but try the natural ones first. And if you're not able to do anything with it, then you can actually go on to it. That should not be the first resort, as a lot of people do these days. So it can reduce the toxic load on your body, the toxic load on your liver, because every medication you take has to be processed by the liver and the kidneys. And it causes a lot of side effects, as you know. And we can prevent our body from going through so much of hurt or harm by trying not to take these kinds of medications on a regular basis. So that's a third thing that you can do. So diet, lifestyle, and then natural remedies or home remedies that you can actually do. This can be very helpful. So the fourth one that I told you was the detoxification. And the fifth one that we can do is medicines, natural medicines that can actually bring down inflammation, that can actually increase antioxidant levels in the body, that can actually move pathways, that can actually move the lymphatic system. And these are all amazing things that we can do as well to help you do this faster, so that you don't have to keep doing this forever and ever and ever. And another thing that I didn't mention about in regards to diet is you must include definitely seeds in your diet, seeds that are raw, like flax or chia seeds. These seeds have to be raw and it has to be whole. So they cannot be ground before, you should not buy the ones that are already pre-ground from the store. You should actually grind them right before you use them, or you can actually blend them in like a smoothie form with veggies and fruits or greens and fruits and then drink it. So that's actually a good idea as well. Or just grind it up into a powder and add to foods right before you consume. Okay, because this is a very good omega-3 source. And omega-3 sources fight inflammation. And anytime we call an autoimmune disease, there are a few things that are playing here. One is that there is a lot of inflammation going on. The second is that the body is being attacked by its own cells. And the third thing is that there is a lot of toxic buildup in the body. So obviously we want to kind of, take down each aspect of this in order for us to be able to reverse this. So when you actually add a lot of seeds in your diet, especially ones that have very high omega-3s, you're going to be able to get that anti-inflammatory, antioxidant rich foods into your diet, which means that you can actually take care of one aspect of the autoimmune disease. And another thing that you can also do is you can actually go to any kind of infrared sauna. Okay, infrared saunas, especially full spectrum ones, are very, very good for detoxification purposes. So even though I said that detoxification is something that you should definitely consult someone like me, there are detoxifications that you can do, like infrared sauna. So if you go to a sauna, you will actually sweat a lot of the toxins out, and this can be a good form of detoxification as well. So it's a simple one. It doesn't require any specific thing. You might need to find out what temperature you need to go in at, but you can obviously do this. And if you have the ability to even buy an infrared sauna, it's really good for you to do that. And it's something that even we can help you, get the right one, the best one for you. So you can always contact our office regarding that. So that's, those are things that you can do. Another is sunlight. Get a lot of sunlight, because sunlight is not just for vitamin D as we have tried to minimize it to be. There is so much more that happens with sunlight. It actually increases the core temperature of the body, and when it does, it actually moves the lymphatic system as well. So exercise and get enough sun as well. So for you to do today is if you have lupus or if you know someone who has lupus, ask them to change their diet, get rid of all the foods that don't necessarily serve them. Second, ask them to exercise. Even if they're in a little bit of pain, ask them to move as much as they can, because movement is essential in order for us to be able to heal from anything. The third thing that they have to do is get enough sun. So even if you are in a very cold place, like right now we are in a very cold place, Texas is not supposed to be, but we are in a cold place. So in this even weather, so once actually the weather gets warmer, which it will soon, go out in the sun, be there at least for 45 minutes without a sunscreen. That's again another important component. A lot of people apply sunscreen, which means that they are not going to get enough vitamin D. And so get a lot of sun as well. Okay. And then start having good practices like going to bed on a regular time, before 10 p.m. and waking up around the same time on a regular basis, and not doing any kind of alcohol, drugs, smoking, or toxic, anything that's toxic, don't put it in your body. Okay. Your body is a temple that you live in, and you need to take great care of that. And another thing that you can do is oil massages. So oil massages, self massages, it's not something that you have to go anywhere to get it. You can do it yourself. Self massages can be very helpful in order for us to move the lymphatic system. It can also be a helpful tool to support the adrenals, which are very essential to calm inflammation in the body. It actually protects us, it repairs us. And so we need that as well. So you can actually do self massage, or if you're able to, if you can afford it, go for therapeutic massages on a regular basis as well. So these are the things that you can do. Okay. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Okay. I have a question here. What about binders in general with saunas or everyday sweating? I don't understand the question. So if you can elaborate on that, I'd be happy to answer that. Seven and Butters. Can you tell me what you mean by that specifically? Hi, Deepti. Absolutely, Aarti. It's my pleasure. I have been wanting to do this video for a while now, so I'm glad that we are able to do this even in the midst of this crazy weather here. So if you're asking, oh, what about binders in general with saunas or everyday sweating? Okay. So yes, there are things that you can actually do to help with sweating more, because if your lymphatic system is not working optimally, then you may not really sweat well even in a sauna. So sometimes I tell my patients that even when they do the sauna, they may take a few weeks regularly being in there in order for them to start sweating. So that usually indicates that the lymphatic system is not really flowing very well, and we need to get that working. So yes, there are things that you can take in order for you to be able to sweat more as well. That is correct. So everyday sweating is fantastic. So in the summer, if you can exercise outside to get more sweat going, that will be very helpful as well. Okay. So I don't see any other questions. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your time, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. So much for joining me today. I appreciate